What's up guys, and welcome back to the show. It is another day. It's a gorgeous Friday if it wasn't for this wind. I luckily have a nice dead cat on my camera microphone, so hopefully you can hear me really well. We're gonna try to tackle this end wall to get it covered up, but right now I just got this first piece of trim. It's nice and tucked in over top here, and you can see, look at my hat's about ready to fly off. We got over this rib, which means all this water is gonna run down this trim that comes off the wall, and it's gonna go out over top of this steel and be nice and watertight. So that's one thing that's super important about a connection, is you gotta flash all that water away from the existing building. Now when we come and do our roof steel here, that's gonna tuck underneath, and we'll make sure that we have a rib, one of these high ribs will be tucked up underneath of this, so any wind-driven rain that makes its way under this encounters that rib and has to be forced down and out over the drip edge that we'll put right here. So now you can see how this connection is gonna work. We're just about to the peak, but what we gotta do is get that last column there, get the soffits cut open like we did down on this corner, so that we can tie in and get this finished over here. So that's what I'm gonna do. Greg's over here in the man basket. He's gonna get all this screwed off. The wind is whipping, and it's definitely causing a little bit of issues just because steel, it's like a big sail. Oh, I love remodeling in the breeze.
Got it?
Oh, so good to stretch. Come over here and help me lift this, man.
Yeah, this is tight.
Okay, you're gonna get on that side. Listen, there is a chance that when you wrap your hands around this pole, come across right here, man. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Ready? One. I can't do it.
Help, Zach, help, Zach.
That's as high as I can go.
Don't put your hands on the bottom. Ow.
Thanks for helping me lift my post up.
You're welcome.
Okay, man, we're ready to frame this up then.
How about like in that?
Yeah, I'll get you that side to side.
Yeah.
Well, one thing's for certain, this went way quicker. That was way easier. And really, that's usually how it goes. You usually worry about things. You know, these connections were probably the biggest thing in my mind that I thought this job is a little bit different than normal, because we got to tie it in. It's got to all work out, and it's got to be, you know, it got to look like this building that we've put up here has always been here with this building. And I know right now that's red, we're white, it's all gonna match once it's taken care of and painted. And I want it to just look like it was always belonging here. And I think this worked out really well. And now we can go ahead and finish framing this here, which means we'll be able to get our house wrap on, trim out this door, and finish the steel from there all the way around. So I'm pretty pumped that I think today is gonna be a great day to wrap up this, this east side, which has been the one that's been kind of staring at us in the face every day that we pulled in the driveway. So you can see behind me here, this is kind of where we got this connection going, and really, we just want some nice solid blocking going around this soffit. And that's just so when we go ahead and make all of our transitional trims that go around that connection, there's something nice and solid. Typically, you know, you're only gonna have wall girts every, you know, maybe 30 inches or so, but that doesn't mean that's gonna give us the necessary blocking. So it may not look amazing, but there's really no good way to do it. We just kind of fill it in, make it work so that we can tack nails in all of our trims and just make sure that it's solid, because if the trims move and there's nothing behind there, then that's how water will make its way in a lot easier if there's nothing really holding it where you want it. You do realize that tape is actually probably pointless?
Probably.
Because we're gonna spray foam it. So the weather seal is useless. A vertical seam is not gonna, we're not gonna have a water issue. But maybe. Here, you go ahead and take this guy.
Yeah, give me this guy.
Let me,
Do your thing.
let me do my thing. Pour me another one. Make it a strong one. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Cast away.
Did you see that song?
What song?
I think it's called Castaway. I don't know.
Huh?
The one I was just singing.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Pour me another one. We'll make it a strong one. We're gonna have some fun tonight.
That one?
I don't know. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna come up there and help you do that. Anytime you're nesting trim, it's a pretty good idea to do that scribing, or what would you call it, notching?
Telescoping?
Yeah, now I did a little bend over here, but because just the way my trim's worked out, I don't want to put that small piece in there, I want a large piece. I'm actually gonna cut this back where my ridge cap will end up covering all of this, but I want to keep this one piece so any water that comes potentially here will kind of work its way down, and I'll also kind of address this issue, and you'll see how I do that. I'm sitting at 83 inches. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mark this at 83. When I come back to this back leg, actually, I'm gonna come in at a fairly steep angle. Okay. I'm gonna kind of cut this out of the way. I know I gotta come in at a little bit of an angle. Right, this might be a little tricky. If I did this right, I should be able to slide this over this notch, then come up here. I need this on this side. And I should be able to fasten all this, put a dab of caulk there, put a dab of caulk behind this just in case, but honestly I'm not even worried about this because I am gonna have my steel up and over this and then my ridge cap, but we'll see it all come together. You know, you do your best, caulk the rest. I could also make a little piece of flashing that was like all the way over this, and that's what I've done in the past. I just like the idea of having this fold over here, and I guess I could still probably put a piece of flashing over this. Maybe I'll do it anyway. Why not? This never hurts. Mechanical flashings are always better than a silicone. So now really this is just to protect this little corner back here, and what I'll do is I'll run my steel up and over, but when we come put our ridge cap over this, I'll throw another bead of sealant right up on this crack, but I don't want to do that yet because it's going to be moving around here, and we'll be lifting it up to put our steel underneath here for the roof. And you know, yes, it would be nice and easy if the roof steel was already here. However, I don't want to damage it. This gives us the opportunity to walk up and down this roof and not do any damage to this roof steel. And when the time comes, we'll tuck our steel right underneath there and we'll put the roof on this garage. But for now, we can run up and over this gable, and should be good now. Okay, hold it up. There you go. Let me get it. Woo! Yep, just like that. Good to go. Good. Ah! Just joking. Up and over the peak. Unfortunately, yes, the peaks of our building and the new building and the old building do not line up. There was a zoning issue where they wouldn't let the customer move the building any further to the north, which meant he was kind of not stuck with the dimensions, but he really wanted the dimension of this building. And so this building right here's peak this is the peak of our building. So they're off by about 2 foot, but it's not a big deal. Now that we've come across this roof here and we're going to be wrapping around this soffit right here, it's a little tricky because we really have nothing to measure off of coming off of this sheet. So what I mean by that is, you know, what do we measure to get like these dimensions here? Like, we're going to put J-channel up all this and do our best to kind of, you know, seal it up, but we don't really have anything to measure off of. So what we like to do, you'll see right here, is we've got this snap line. And the snap line, we leveled up a 3 foot mark here, and then we also did a 3 foot mark way up at the top off of this last sheet of steel, which was level, plumb, whatever. And then we snapped a line all the way through it. Now we have a consistent measuring tool here to measure back off of. So this right here is our 3 foot rib, which is our siphon rib on the leading edge, which would be like the guy on the edge right there. It gives us something to measure back to. Now the other thing we ran into is this trim, it died right into the center of a rib, and what that means is any water that's going to come down this trim off the sidewall is going to hit that center of that rib and go right behind it, and you can caulk it, but it's just a horrible idea. So we're going to kind of manipulate the way this trim detail works so that we can make sure it's flashed properly and water will go out over the steel on the sidewall and then run down the face of the steel versus get trapped into a rib and then run in the backside. All right, I'm just gonna basically put a nice fat bead. P-H-A-T bead? No, actual F-A-T. Okay, it's all you, and I got the trim.
Oh, no.
No, Greg, that will never come off. Not that fat. Not that fat.
Not that fat?
Not that
bad though. That's bad.
Yeah, but you're... Man, this wind has been miserable. Imagine if we weren't on this side. All right, shove this in. Hope you didn't do that too tight. Right there.
Wherever you like it, send it, brother.
How's that?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Woo! Okay, Zach, you got that. Now, as he takes it up, I'm gonna go get on this ladder here. I hate ladders. I got it. Okay. Now get your left side in, Zach. You're gonna have to be higher than that, zigzags. Can you not go higher? Somehow, we gotta get under this, which I'm almost there. Okay. Catching on this right here.
Not in that day right there.
Well, we're catching on two things. Let's take it out a little. Take it up, Greg. Take it up. Up. Ow. We're catching somewhere. Not here. Oh, there you go. Did that help you?
Oh my.
Woo, there we go.
Whatever that was, that did it. That's what I want.
Yeah, man. That's good for me. Grab a level. Let's just, double check it. So now that we have this piece of trim around that soffit and everything, you can see how this is going to work. What we do is, this is going to stay a wood fascia. It's going to get repainted. We'll have our metal drip edge. This is going to get cut off. We'll have a drip edge here, and this trim will get secured. Now, because of this kind of detail, we're not going to have a metal or aluminum soffit fascia. What we do is we do a 3/4 bend back. So up here, any water coming down this wall is going to hit this point and come down. This is our weakest point, which we stuff a bunch of OSI. Oh, that's still a little sticky. Right here. Now we do our best. We make sure that this point right in there is overlapping our steel. A little bit unclear, but there you go. Now you can see it. Any water is going to come out over that, and we leave a little gap here so water's going to run down this way. We don't want it coming back here. So sometimes we'll run a piece of J here in a different instance and then lap our side fascia or whatever over, but we can't do that here. So we make sure it runs past, and then on the underside, you can kind of see our steel is tucked up here in this J channel. So not always ideal, but remodels are never perfect and fun. Tried to do our best here to get that nice and clean, and now we're kind of good to go. Well, thankfully my camera still works because it just fell over, but one sheet. We got one sheet to go, and a little bit of trim up here, but it was just not enough time today, so